Hey guys, we are here, Rise and Grind podcast, playing Field of Parenthood. It's Danielle and Alex, and we are back after a 1 week break that
Mhm.
was sort of necessary with the craziness going on, which we had talked
Mhm.
about last episode. But we're here with episode 32. We are kind of doing like a Q&A session slash digging in a little bit deeper to some of the issues that we've seen come up a lot lately that people have asked us about or that we've seen. Um, but yeah, let's how about those Blue Jays?
Oh my God. What an emotional roller coaster. And you know how many people keep like, well, who did you want to win, Danielle? And like all the things. And I haven't really posted much about it because I feel like if I post about the Blue Jays, like you're a traitor. But on the flip side, if I post about the Mariners, bro, you're Canadian, born and raised. Like, so I will say, like, because my husband is out of town for work and he called after the game and he was like super frustrated. And I was like, well, I'm going to be honest. When George Springer hit that 3-run home run, like, I had tears in my eyes.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I just feel like that's sport and that's what makes it like super cool. I would have been fine with either winning, but like, when he did that and like the raw emotion and thinking about Rogers Center and like, I mean, my brother got called up to the Blue Jays. That was his first ever big league experience was with the
Mhm.
Jays and a Canadian kid, and like they treated him incredible. And like, so to me, when I think about the Blue Jays, like I think about like home, right?
Yeah.
So when George Springer hit that and just thinking about, the adversity stuff with his knee and getting crushed and not like great the last couple games because of that. And then in that moment, it was like everything just
Aligned.
aligned for him. And I think that's what makes sports so great, right? Like you don't have to, you can be slumping and struggling and hurt. And then a moment comes up and you're present and you're ready and you get a pitch. And then now you're the hero that hit the, game winning run to take him to the World Series. I think it's been what, 32 years? Something crazy.
Yeah.
1993 maybe was the last time. It just, I don't know. It was historic. I feel like I didn't even pay attention to the Dodgers and the Brewers because it was just such a shit show. Like they just killed them, so no one really like seemed to care as much. But like the Mariners, Blue Jays
It
was
was a good
intense.
series. Yeah, it was a really good series, and they were both very
So
good
good.
teams this year. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I watched the Dodgers, but I feel like the thing that came out of that Dodgers, there was like a meme of the pitcher from the Brewers that made that error, and
Oh,
he's in the
yeah.
dugout, like hunched over, and his teammates are there, like leaning over him, and they were like, "If there's nothing else you took away from this, at least know that like that's a team, like that's them, like supporting him in that moment. Like you never want to be that kid or the person that like has the error that costs the game, but like." We as athletes understand that it's not just one moment. There's so many other moments in that game that, go one way or the other can change the whole uh, progression of everything. And so, but to feel that like pressure and like, ugh, just tough.
Mm.
But what a good, it's such a good series. I'm glad they went to game 7. I feel like it was like, just, this is why, like, it's October baseball. Like, that's
Yeah.
October baseball.
Yeah. And of course, like I always watch the pregame shows because I absolutely love like hearing the insight of
Who they are.
Derek Jeter and
Yeah.
Ortiz and A-Rod. And I think Ken Rosenthal is funny to hear chat. And there's just like so much cool stuff that they give you. It kind of reminds me of like the World Series when we do the studio stuff there and then it leads to the game and we get to talk about our opinions and stuff. Gosh, because Dan Wilson, the manager of Mariners, is getting so much heat about the pitching change and all the things, and there's so much pressure. I think there's more pressure at times on the manager in a game 7 of game management and decisions than anyone can even understand. So, like, even with all the heat that he's getting, I mean, they've never made it here, right? Like, you think about the managers in the past, think about Lou Piniella, like, he never got him here.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot going down of like, God, why do you make that decision and yada yada yada. But I think they return practically everyone. So that's not a bad thing and experience and all the things. But man, I feel like I was torn in both directions. And
It's
it
like,
was,
like
it really was.
if your kids are facing off in the World Series, like what do I do?
And it really, which was crazy because you think about the Romeros, they
Hmm.
did face off in the World Series with Sierra and Sid, the kid, at Michigan and Oklahoma. And I remember, both her parents in the stands, like with the split jersey that they got
Yeah.
me, one side this, one side that. Um, but I don't know. I see in Vladdy in tears
Oh, that
after, and like,
was
and then I'm kind of getting choked up because I'm thinking about like, you, as you know, like you dedicate your life to it. And then not everyone gets to experience those moments or have the series that he has had in the postseason.
yeah.
It's been incredible. And I think in those moments you remember your upbringing of how hard you worked and worked and worked and worked. And then when it finally seems like everything is aligning, it gives you that sense of like all these emotions of like, damn, like it's worth it to put in the ruthless hours when no one's watching and when you feel like you're failing. It was super cool. I love
Were they
October.
right in saying that he's the only true Canadian on the team?
Well, he's not.
But he was technically born there because his dad was playing there when he was
Yeah,
born, right?
well, and yeah, no, you're right. I guess you could say he is like the truest Canadian out of
That's cra It's so cool. It's so cool to watch.
everyone.
Like
Yeah,
it's
and
fun.
why it matters so much to him, which
Yeah.
is another speak going back to the Mariners, like that's why I really love watching like Josh Naylor. Like he is born and raised, he was born in Ontario. So like, he'd have these little signs of like Canada that he would wear. Like one of the days he had the maple leaf on his belt buckle. Like you can't take where you're from out of the equation. Like that had to be a dream series for him too, crushing that they lost, but like he got to be here and play against Toronto, and then he got to go home and play where he was born and raised. Like there's just so many cool things, but damn, you're up 3-1, you give up a 3-1 freaking shot. That shit doesn't leave your mind.
As a
Pitching,
yeah.
that doesn't leave your mind. And listen, I mean, how there was, I think, 3 innings in a row where there was leadoff walks for the Jays. Kills you. Like we can't walk the lead off. Eventually, when you play with fire, you're going to get burned. So the more
Yeah.
chances, especially late in a game, that you give a team that's down. And yeah, 3-1 felt like, oh, not bad, but that's not a big enough lead for how many runs the Blue Jays score. If they were up 8-1, I'd feel okay about a leadoff walk.
Yeah. It's that. Bob used to say it's a game of threes. You have to keep them to less than three and you have to score more than three.
Mm-hmm.
Every time. It almost always breaks down to that. And if you
Yeah.
can't do one of those two things, nothing is guaranteed.
There was also a ton of like double plays over the 7 game
Oh
series.
yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, like good defense.
Yeah.
Couple base running things that I saw, which gives you a little bit of like to your travel ball teams. Hey, even the big guys f up every now and again, but yeah, Crawford I think went back to go tag or like didn't get off the base at one and the ball was dropping and he should have very well been at third base. Yet he
Mhm.
stayed at first. Like little things like that. They add up. Who am I to critique because I'm not like a base running queen. I've one stolen base in my career.
Hey, one's better than none.
One's better than none. So, anyways, that's my 2 cents. I think it's cool when I think about my parents watching. They
Yeah.
watch every Blue Jays game. Um, Madison Shipman, who I do the World Series studio stuff with, she's doing the studio stuff for the Jays and she's there in person. And I'm just like, what a cool thing. Like,
Yeah.
she's in there in person, getting to talk about this. Like, I text with her throughout and I'm like, so cool. She goes, it's incredible, like the energy and how loud it is. And it's special. It's hard to get there, man. It is hard to get there. Did you watch like their like champagne thing after?
No, no.
That was like they turned like the whole locker room into like a club. I remember A-Rod being like, "Yo, are they in like Vegas? Like,
Or
or is
it's
that
not
the
the
locker
locker room. Yeah.
room?" It was
It
crazy.
gets pretty intense with like all the trash bags up and everything, like where they're trying to
Yeah.
protect stuff. Yeah.
I'm now I'm pulling for the Jays,
Of course you
obviously.
are. And I'm rooting for the Dodgers. It's going to be great.
No, I don't. The Dodgers just seem like they've just been like killing everyone. So this
They're
should
a
be a
good
really
team this
interesting
year.
series.
They're a good team
Yeah.
this year, but going back to like your management that comment is that's where they've always struggled. Is
Mm.
he's obviously he's a legend. He's been there forever, but like it always seems like it comes down to his decisions that like throw everything off. But we'll see. We got
Yeah.
people on rolls when we need them to be on rolls. Um,
You want to make a friendly wager? Starbucks gift card?
let's do it.
All right, I'm in. $25.
Okay, deal.
Maybe one day it could be 2,500.
That would be great.
And
Chump change. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if I would want 2,500 at Starbucks. I would take it at like Nordstrom or
Yeah.
Lulu.
I was gonna say Lulu or yeah, like
Fiore.
Yori.
Go.
Yep, that would be a top
Yeah.
contender. Shields.
Yeah.
You guys have Shields?
Oh, what is that?
Oh my gosh. It's like a sporting goods store, but
No.
like on steroids. Like it's
What
like
makes it so good?
it's just there's literally like every brand you can possibly think of, every sport you can possibly think of. It's like kayaking, like hunting, like there's sections for everything. There's like a batting cage inside where you can try bats out. There's gloves, there's a toy section, there's a fish tank that the kids love. There's a Ferris wheel inside the store.
Oh my God. Is this a Texas thing?
No, they're everywhere. We're gonna have to find you one so you can go swing through one because
I I
it's
don't think
awesome.
there's one close here.
Charlie, the 5-year-old, that's what she wanted for her birthday. She said, I want to go to Shields. We go there like
Really?
almost every weekend just because it's easy to walk around and the kids are entertained. But that's literally
Yeah.
my favorite place in the world is Shields.
Okay, I need to look up where the closest one
Goodness.
is, and you're gonna have to let me know the spelling of it because
Yes, I can do that. It's good.
I'm I'm lost.
Um,
Um,
what's our first
okay.
question? What do you want to talk about? What was your biggest
I
struggle? What do you think?
No, I want to ask you, when you were growing up playing,
Mhm.
did you know that like you wanted to play in college? Like what age do you feel like you recognize like this is what I want to do?
I was always good in like Little League and rec, and I always had good grades. Like my grades were always on point. And it got to a point where when I was going into middle school, that's when I started playing travel ball. And that's when my mom was kind of like, you could do this because if you don't, the only way you're going to get basically college is on you. That's
Mm,
when I kind of started having that, like, I realized that, like, I had good grades, I was athletically sufficient.
mm,
And, but if I wanted to go to college, it was going to be completely on me, whether it was academic scholarships or athletic scholarships. And I think I've told you, like, I was better at soccer than I was at softball.
yeah,
Um, but I had really bad asthma. So we didn't do the club thing because I knew that was going to be really hard. And
yeah.
so we went the softball route and I think it was just either that or nothing. So
Hmm.
even if I didn't get a scholarship, an athletic scholarship, I had like grants and scholarships and stuff lined up academically. And I would have tried to walk on somewhere and then like develop a scholarship later.
Yeah.
But luckily I got a scholarship, so that helped. But it wasn't easy. And I think I told you, I signed really late too. I didn't sign until spring of my senior year. So
Yeah.
what is that, like 3 months before you're set to leave?
And what teams were you looking at? Was Hawaii the only?
No, I had talked to San Diego State, like it was more of like a verbal thing. It was never an offer. It was just like an interest.
Was Nuvi still there?
I
Was she an
don't She
assistant?
wasn't there yet, I don't think.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, it was still the other coach, but she was coming in as an assistant. I think she came in as an assistant when I was a freshman.
Okay.
And then Norfolk State had made an official offer,
Okay.
and Boise State was in the talks, but those were my only like legitimate conversations. I went on a visit to Norfolk actually. Virginia, I love
Mm.
the East Coast. The East Coast is awesome, but I don't like cold, so that wouldn't
Yeah.
have gone very well.
Clearly, you went to Hawaii.
Yeah, opposite, completely opposite. What about you?
Y- I growing up in Canada, it's just not.
Yeah.
the opportunities back in the day don't seem like they were now for a lot of these athletes, right? Like they visually can see everything,
Hmm.
see that those opportunities are there, find ways to watch it on TV, social media, all the things. I had no idea that that was even something that I had the opportunity to potentially do if I was pretty good at the sport. Um, I was 15 when I did my first junior national team experience.
Hmm.
And that's when the bug was put in my ear when we went over to China. And I can't remember who, I want to say Ken Erickson, who coaches at USF, was on staff with one of the teams and a couple others. And I think I'd said this in a podcast prior. That was when like Monica Abbott was with Team USA and she had just signed with
Let's
Tennessee. And it
see.
was
Yeah.
like, I was like, oh, dang, like this is like possible. Like that was a big deal because she was by far one of the best pitchers. I'm not going to say in the world at that time because I didn't know, but the best pitcher in the United States. And she was
Yeah,
going
for
to
sure.
Tennessee. And then when I was over there in China, I had been asked, like, oh, are you signed to go anywhere? And I was 15, so no. But that's when I remember Ken Erickson coming and mentioning to me, like, this is totally possible if you want it to be possible. Like XYZ, go put your name out there and let people know.
Yeah.
Um, and then that's kind of how it like worked. And I did go home and do all the things way different than what you do now. Like you legit sent packages to these schools in the mail and put
Yeah.
all your information, your workload, what you do, your grades.
Transcripts, physical
Yeah, you
copies of
send
DVDs. Yeah.
and I hadn't done like my SAT stuff yet, so I didn't have any of my SAT scores. You
Yeah.
had to let them know tournaments that you were going to be in. And I remember like barely hearing back. Like barely heard back from anyone. And I didn't hear from UW until late because when HT got the job, her first year was 2005 at
Okay.
University of Washington. So I want to say maybe that summer of 2005, I was with Team US, Team Canada, and we went and did the World Cup of softball and all the things we beat. But like it was the year that like I had heard from her, I think was the year prior in that summer. She knew she was getting the job way ahead, mind you. And they came to the Canada Cup and said that they wanted to like talk. And then that's when I was saw them come in and I was like, damn, like that's where I want to go. And I had heard from a couple schools prior, but like location, like I've mentioned, was a key
Huge.
factor. Alabama too far, Nebraska too far. We did the home visit with Nebraska, like just didn't feel like that's where I wanted to go. And then yeah, just made that decision. Shit, it was being able to be drivable was the game changer for me, for my family, right?
Yeah.
Like it's expensive to fly, especially when your family can't always afford it. There wasn't games on TV like it is now. Like every damn game is on TV, which is so cool for because it gives you the options to go potentially play
A little.
wherever you want to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That definitely was
Um,
an option. And
okay,
we were
next.
in a
Sorry.
random conference. No, it was just
Yeah.
back then it wasn't the WAC like the Western. It was the only California team in the WAC at that point was Fresno.
Dang, was it Margie Wright? She
Hmm.
the coach? She was crazy.
Marge. Yep. They have pictures
Crazy.
of they used to have pictures of her in the fast food restaurants around campus.
Really?
We went to like KFC or something and it was her. I don't remember. It probably wasn't
She
KFC, but
I remember we played them at the Cal State Fullerton tournament, and I remember we ended up beating them, but she threw her clipboard at someone that got out.
that a lot.
Man,
Yeah. My last at bat as a Rainbow Wahine at Wahine Stadium, and I hit a home run. That's how I left my collegiate career in Hawaii. I hit a home run. And I was not a trotter. I did not do a home run trot. I sprinted because I didn't like the attention. So like I'd go really fast. And I like slowed down and I like tears just everywhere. Like it was very emotional. And I come around and we do the thing at home plate and she's standing there waving my bat in the air, yelling at the umpire about how it was a loaded bat.
oh my God.
And I was like, Margie, we've played each other how many times over the years? Like,
Yeah.
can we just move on? Like,
My
it's over, it's
it's
done.
it's my moment. Get out
Yeah.
of here.
go away. So
Don't take away. Don't take away from
it's
this.
like you're just making yourself look bad at this point.
What what was the toughest part throughout everything? It could have been prior to you going to college. It could have been a moment in college.
The toughest part about getting to the point where like you have a scholarship and you have a plan and like you're ready to go. I think the toughest part prior to that was it was never like the motivation. I feel like I always had the motivation and like the drive to like do the extra work and put the work in. That was never it. It was the in high school, which was horrible for me. I had a terrible high school experience and a lot of it was other girls and rumors and just
Yeah.
people being nasty. Like I made a lot of bad choices also. Like I'm not going to put that on everybody else. Like I also made some really bad decisions, but the constant like just nonstop. Like I made varsity as a freshman. I only made varsity as a freshman because my mom was best friends with the coach's wife. Like it was this whole thing. Like
Yeah.
and then they start the rumors like, oh, she's a lesbian. Like they went after everything that they could have. And
Yeah.
that at that age is hard to deal with when you already feel alienated. Like I just never had a lot of girlfriends. Like I just didn't. I hung out with guys a lot. Like I was just chilling.
Yeah.
Like I had my own thing. I had my mindset on what I was going to do, and I think that alienated me a lot in high school because my priorities were different than everybody else's.
Yeah.
And it's fine. Like I still have some girls that I talk, like maybe two that I still talk to from high school, but
Yeah.
like it helped because then when I did make friends, I knew that they were good ones, and
Yeah.
like you learned, I was very much a people pleaser when I left for college and coming home from college, I wasn't anymore. And I think that it was all part of the process. Like I don't regret any of it. It's just at that age between freshman and senior year, freshman and junior year, even when you're going through all of the stuff that you're already going through, like socially and like trying to be accepted and like want, and like I was never, I, I've never been smaller than a size like medium large. Like I've always been thick thighs, thick everything. Like it's just, and so you're already dealing with all this like body issues. Softball players are built differently. Like
Yeah.
there's just so many things going on. And then on top of that, like they were just relentless with me. And I feel like that was the toughest part because my
Yeah.
home life was not stable in that way. Like my parents got divorced when I was in high school. So it was like there was just a lot of things that were messy.
Mm.
And then I end up, basically marrying I did marry my high school sweetheart, but like I end up meeting, like starting to date Mike and like we're talking like love and we're going to stay together and all these things. And then it all just compounded into
Yeah.
turned out okay, but I think that was tough. It was mentally a lot. So thinking
Mm.
about my daughters going through stuff like that and dealing with the chirping and the constant and the I mean now it's social media and like that scares the crap out of me.
Yeah. That's it. That's a lot. It is. It's hard. It's a lot. Kids are assholes. They really
Mm-hmm.
are. And there is just so much jealousy and
Mm-hmm.
anger. And if someone doesn't look the way that like you feel like they should look, it's like attack mode. Like I had at times to a degree similar, but it was, so many rumors all the time going around about me and my brother and the way that my dad would train us. And it always like, oh my God, the amount of times like people would say, like, oh my God, Danielle's on steroids and yada, yada, yada. Her parents have been doing all this stuff. And then, what's crazy? It's like there was definitely some hard moments.
Mm-hmm.
And I have these conversations with my kids all the time about that part of my upbringing. And I will say to them, like, listen, not a lot of my like great friends are from high school. A couple of some solid basketball girls that I still talk to, and maybe one or two of the guys.
Yeah.
Besides that, like they don't have a clue as to how fortunate sports have been to me to give me the life that they've been able to give me.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so you have to go through the shitty and the hard because that's kind of what sculpts us into who we are. Number one, we're tough as nails. Number two, and then when you're fortunate enough to be able to like do something in athletics, whatever that is, you get an opportunity to play in college and you're successful, you get to go to an Olympics, like you do remember some of those moments when you're in the big moments of like, wow, I'm so lucky to be here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, Back in the day, my dad would be like, if someone says something, you Brett, go fucking let them know. Go let them know that's not okay. And I don't ever condone violence for my girls now, but you and I have talked about it. Like if there's a situation where someone gets hit, or like if Maddie sees that Audrey's getting made fun of, or vice versa, like I always tell my girls to stand up for what's right and make sure
Mhm.
you have people's backs that maybe aren't willing to step up in those moments for themselves, because
Right.
that to me is like the character stuff that
And it
there's just so
extends so
many.
much further than sports, right? Like that
Yeah,
carries over into
yeah,
everything. Yeah. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. What was the
When
tough?
I mean, when I think about like the tough stuff, high school, yeah, it was tough. It had its moments. We're grinding, we're constantly in it. But I think my biggest like buffer moment was not in college, but it was that '08 Olympic year, and
Mm,
that learning a
yeah.
lot about myself, that I knew that if I didn't make the changes, I was going to finish my career at UW just kind of being okay. And to me, that was like a shift in the mental part of like putting in the work to be better mentally, because clearly that was a spot of weakness,
Right.
and to really show my teammates that like I got you, right?
Right.
Like I knew in moments I needed to be a better teammate. It wasn't ever that I wasn't willing to put in the work. I just think like the vulnerability piece in moments of being able to like own stuff, right? So like after that Olympics and Coach Tar is in Japan or in China, and we're there and I'm able to have that conversation, and I say like, hey, we're for sure going to win a championship, but there was a lot of ownership and conversations that I would sit with our strength coach and like just word vomit all the things and the struggles and the hard, and being heard, number one, was incredible, but also being told in those moments like this is where you have to learn and grow and be better, because back in the day, you know, you had one pitcher. So if you want to be the one in those moments, you have to know that we've checked the boxes, number one, but the respect from the teammates and all of those things. So that Olympic year to me was probably the biggest eye opener of accountability. And I am fully over it all now. It took me a really long time to be over all of the things because, like I said, being someone that was older and did the 2020 Olympic Games,
Right.
if there was a shithead that was on the team,
You put it
I
in
would
place.
deal with them differently than
Yeah.
how at times I was dealt with. Mind you, I am an alpha female, and it was very hard for people to deal with that because back in the day, it was so much more about, well, you should be like really happy that you're here and you're getting this opportunity. And for sure, I did not ever take that for granted. But sometimes I wasn't able to play well because I never felt like, number one, I was liked by my teammates. And number
Yeah.
two, like, I never felt like there was that trust or want for me to be the one that was out there. And that hurt, I think, more than anything, because with pitching, sometimes you can feel so isolated. But if you don't feel like everyone has your back, like, what the fuck? What am I
That's
doing?
tough. Yeah. No, for
It's a
sure.
tough position. There's a lot of eyes on you. And so learning that throughout that year, I wouldn't have been able to do what I did the following years at Washington if I didn't really look myself in the mirror and be like, I have to be a whole lot better.
Yeah.
So grateful for the hard, even though there was probably called my parents 10 times throughout that Olympic year saying, I want to come home. I can't do this. This is so
Right. You need to
hard.
hear. Yeah.
20 years old and then 21 at the Olympics. Like you're still a baby. Think about your girls being 20 and 21. Like it was a lot. So yeah, that was definitely one of the things.
Yeah.
Um, what would you tell your younger self, a piece of advice?
I feel like part of what made it hard for me was that I was a people pleaser, that I was so easily swayed by what people thought of me. I think it kind of goes into like the core of like I'm very much I like words of affirmation. Like I like hearing what a good job I'm doing. I like hearing positive feedback
Hmm.
because I didn't get a lot of it
Yeah.
growing up. And so I think I really look for that in
Hmm.
things. And because it was always negative, I think I
Yeah.
really struggled with that. And so I think going back and realizing like, this is how I feel about something. This is my expectation. Like being able to communicate effectively, like how I was feeling and like understanding that just because they feel that way, did I behave in a way that that was like warranted for them to feel that way about me or talk about me that way? Did I do
Yeah.
something that was like made me partially responsible for that? I think one of the biggest things I tell my kids now, and we had two moments of this last weekend, one with P and one with Dominic, where when your teammates talk about you, when they remember who you were to them as a teammate, what are the things you want them to say?
Mm.
And so then they list them out. They say, like, I want them to say I was respectful or that I was kind or whatever the adjective might be. Okay. Now, what does somebody who emulates that do in order to earn that? What does that look like? Right.
Mm.
So I really challenge them to think about if this is what you want people to think about you, or this is what you want to be remembered, or how you want to be remembered, how can you daily make choices to show that, to be that
Yeah.
person, to step into what you're trying to be? Because it's not necessarily like a collegiate athlete right now. It's not necessarily like CEO of some really successful company. Right now it's as simple as I want people to think I'm nice. Like I want people to think that I'm kind. Like they're little things for them as the because they on that scale, that's where they're at right now. It's more about just in the very simplest. Oh, that guy's not nice. Like you don't want people saying that about you.
No.
So how do you behave? What choices do you need to make in order to be that? And my son threw his helmet last night.
Through his helmet?
He threw his helmet last night. Danielle, when I tell you I almost ran out on that baseball field, he popped up. It was a legitimate pop up. Kid made an amazing catch. Could have been a base hit. Kid made an amazing catch. My
Yeah.
kid, he threw his helmet. I
Sorry for laughing.
don't. I mean, that's all we can do because you know how. Like I was literally like, is this real life right now? Did that just happen? Like, what is happening? And Mike
Yeah.
is coach, so immediately Mike's out there like handling it. He's sitting out the next inning as he should,
Mm-hmm.
he's pouting on the bench. So I go over there and he's like my sweet boy, right? Like I know he's expecting me to go over there and just like make him feel better. I reamed that kid for 4 minutes straight. I laid into him because what
Yeah.
do you think? And later we had another conversation when we got home, but like in that moment, like to not cut off that behavior like right then and there and nip it in the butt and explain to him like that is unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Like this can never happen again. And then coming back and having like the more like reasonable conversation when I had my cool also is like, how do you think your teammates perceived you in that moment?
Mm-hmm.
How do you think they saw you? Because you've seen somebody throw in their helmet and what do you think of them? So that's what you made yourself look like last night,
Yeah.
right? And bringing it back to the way that you are remembered is a result of your actions and words. And how do you make that something that is worthy of like what you're trying to be, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
think that if I had learned that sooner and known like as long as I'm true to who I'm trying to be and like I'm taking the actions and steps every day to be the adjectives, kind, whatever that I'm trying to be, nobody has any ground to stand on. And that's how I feel now. It's like this is how I behave, this is what I believe, this is what I'm going to do, and if you have a problem with it, that's on you. I
Mm-hmm.
know my truth. That's more of, I guess that's more of like the root cause of everything. I know my truth and I don't worry about what other people think that it is.
I those moments though are not horrible, right? Because you get to see and it's such a teachable moment for them to really learn. And in like that's why I really enjoy helping coach and being in the
Right.
dugout and being able to interact with these kids in those moments of like, oh my God, I can't handle my emotions. This seems like it's so much. Like I can be pretty cutthroat, like, hey, enough. Like we can't be acting like that. Go take a second, go to the back of the dugout.
Right.
Trust me, and it's been a long road with Maddie. We've had moments where she'll cry after she gets out. She hasn't thrown anything. There's been some girls that have thrown stuff. I remember the first practice I had with this Acers team, someone slammed their bat into the plate. First practice ever. I put my hands up. I'm like, hey, hold up. I got
Pause.
you. I
Yeah.
got you as a pitcher. If I see you do that, I will strike your ass out every single time. You are defeated. You are done. You will not be able to touch me. So it's just giving them these moments of like, hey, this can't happen. So
Yeah.
like any easy out that you give to a pitcher, you're done.
Yeah.
How can we? And I haven't seen her do it since. So, but those emotions allow for us to have those intentional conversations and let them
Right.
know, and then see how they can continue to like build from there. Sometimes I think that they're like comical. I don't laugh, but in the moment, like in my body, I'm like, dang, like they're fucking going through it right now. Like they're
Yeah.
feeling it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't ever laugh, but I do love getting to engage with them and talk about the hard, because the hard is what makes sports so great. But if you can't control your emotions, you can't play at a high level.
Hmm.
So fun, but good for you to be able to have that conversation. He's going to learn so much from that. Number one, I can't do that again. And number two, like, why did I feel in the moment the need to do this? And
Hmm.
getting to the root of that. Did I feel like I let someone down? Was I just pissed off? What was it? Okay, boom. This is how we work from there. You need to be
Yeah.
able to like run back into the dugout, take a deep breath, go to the end. What's your outlet in those moments, right?
Yep. I'm good with you screaming. I'm good with you like
Yeah.
yelling into your helmet and like taking a moment. Like you can shove your helmet into your bag so hard that
Yeah.
that's fine. But the way that you behaved was unacceptable. It will always be unacceptable. There is never a situation where that would be okay. Like that's the one, because that action specifically, like yelling or like an outburst, those are going to happen. And I
Mm-hmm.
get that that's more natural. I do it too. Like I'll out like whoa, like what was that called? Like out loud. But the physical reaction, they like visceral, like he chucked his helmet, like that never, not okay in any way, shape, or form. So,
Yeah.
it's slowly but surely. It was, yep, you would have
Yeah.
laughed if you were there too, not even just.
Out loud, probably too. Out loud.
Yeah. Because his mom, like that's why you laugh. That's the thing, is like because number one, exactly what's going through my head, and number two, like she's going through it now too.
Now she's got to deal with it.
Okay, so your turn to answer. What would you tell your younger self?
Oh, well, I would probably, number one, showcase this dog in a pumpkin suit. Um, I think we had like an incredible upbringing, right? We were very fortunate. My parents were so invested in us, in our sports, and my mom was always the biggest cheerleader, and my dad was hard on us. Like he kept us out of trouble. We were very focused. We were in it from like a young age.
Right,
And at times I feel like Maddie feels that way because we're in it.
right.
So I think when I look back on it, if I could give advice to myself, it would simply be like remembering that like it is worth it, right? Like I think when you're in it, you may not have the goals or the visions of like, oh wow, like maybe I could play in college. Wow, maybe I could play with the junior national team. Maybe I could go to an Olympics. Like those are all really big goals, but those weren't ones that I had when I was doing all of it. So I think looking back now, it would be reminding yourself that like you will be great no matter what comes of it because of the lessons you've learned through the dedication to the grind of all of it.
Yeah,
Be present, work hard, enjoy the good, enjoy the bad, because it's worth it, right? I was
yeah.
lucky to do some cool stuff with sports for sure. And you hope that your kids can because you work your tail off.
Spend a lot of
So
money.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think just reminding your younger self that like it is worth it, because sometimes it seems like you're missing out on all the things. You're not going to the dances, you're not
Hmm.
getting to do all the sleepovers, um not having the boyfriends. Like there was a lot of stuff that I missed out on that maybe I felt really resentful in the
Like
moment. Like
shafted. Yeah, yeah,
I wasn't allowed to date until I was quite a bit older. My brother could date. I was angry about that. And I look back now and I'm like, I had no business wanting a boyfriend at
yeah,
12 or 13 or 4. Like, what the hell? No. No way. Especially nowadays.
yeah.
Ugh. Like Maddie will bring up something. She's not interested in any of that stuff now, but like she's she said someone on my soccer team said they saw, or XYZ kissing in the hallway. And I look at her and I'm like, ugh, so gross.
Gross.
What is that? And she goes, yeah, I know. And I'm like, yeah, dude. At 11 and 12 and 13, that was not on my mind. It wasn't even on my mind at 15 or 16.
Yeah,
Thank God. Anyways, just being where your feet are at, knowing that you're enjoying the whole process. Because before you know it, you get a little older and you look back and you're like, man, I'd go back to like 13 or 14 and doing the grind and getting to do it again, even though it was hard, but it goes by quick.
No
You see my
responsibilities, no bills. Yeah.
no responsibilities. They don't know how good they got it.
Yeah, exactly. I think about that too. I'm like, when, you know, I remember specific moments in Hawaii where I would just stand there and I'd be like, this is the life. Like, this is
Mm,
so cool. Like, I get to live here and like play softball. Like, this is my life. I walked
for
everywhere, didn't have to be anywhere. I mean, practice and stuff, but like, it's not the same as what it is now, where we have, like, I literally told Mike when the alarms went off this morning, I don't want to adult today. I don't want to do it. I'm done. I don't want to do this. And like,
cheers.
you go through that, but you still have to do it. Like, we don't have a choice. So
And you got four kids. I only have two.
yeah.
I know I say that almost every episode, but
It's becoming a recurring theme.
it does make a difference when you only got to take care of two instead of four. There's more responsibility.
We got the last round this weekend and then it's playoffs. So
Okay.
the light is at the end of the tunnel.
Mm.
Remind me to tell you about this. There's this new place in Dallas called Bat Box.
Mm.
So it's supposed to be like Top Golf, but with baseball.
Oh, fun.
It's like a bar and like they can do like the simulation and stuff. That's what
Yeah.
for Dom's birthday. So I'm super excited, but I want to send you.
Oh, you'll have
Yeah.
to take some like video and stuff. Maybe we
Yeah.
could put it on the podcast, like a quick little, like, I'd be so curious to see that.
Yeah. I'm excited. It literally just opened like last week. I was like, oh, perfect. Let's book it for his birthday.
So
So we'll see how that goes. We have one more question, right?
one more. Okay. Who, when you look back, has influenced you the most in your career? Could be anyone.
Like influenced my life or influenced my softball career?
Uh, Career, your softball career.
That's hard. I think that I had a coach in high school, my last travel ball coach. I was kind of a team hopper for a while. So I was on a couple different travel ball teams. Yeah, I know. It's
Kidding.
really bad. And I ended up with California Rage out of Glendora, California. And our coaches' names were both Jim. There was Little Jim and Big Jim. And that's what they looked like. Little Jim
Oh,
was a little
yeah.
skinny
Yeah.
dude, and Big Jim he wore suspenders. Like that's how big he was. He was a big dude. And I had fallen out of love with softball. I felt like it was a job. I felt like it wasn't fun anymore. The other travel ball teams I had been on had kind of ruined it for me a little bit. And when I came to their tryout, I said, I just want to have fun. I just want to like play.
Yeah.
And they helped me find that again. And I think that was one of the reasons why I was still able to play in college, just because at that point when I'd gotten there, it just didn't feel like I wanted to do it anymore. I'd lost a lot of motivation. And Little Jim was a coach at Mount Sac for a very long time. He just retired. That was like his other job. He was one of the assistants at Mount Sac. I ran into him at the NFCA convention when I was coaching at Davis. And it was the coolest thing because it was like, that was like my travel ball coach, not my college coach. This was my travel ball coach.
Yeah.
Like he knew me like way back when. And so I think those two, the gyms, that's basically what we called them. The gyms definitely had a big impact on me professionally. And I got to give a shout out to Bobby C because as I've explained, my family life wasn't super great. And I had a lot of, I hate to say it, daddy issues, but like there was a lot of issues that came from that situation specifically. And Bob stepped in a way where it was a very healthy relationship from a coach to a player, but also like as like a mentor, like a guiding person where I didn't really have one before that, and he just really helped me like see my potential and overall just like figure out who I wanted to be. And I think he was really supportive in that way. And I know people are probably like listening to this who've heard Bob talk to people and they're like, what are you talking about? Because he's crazy. And he is, but he's like his own brand of crazy. And it spoke to my crazy. So like it made sense. And I thrived under that type of coaching and that type of guidance. And, I'm still trying to get a petition to rename that stadium for him because I think that is the best way to like, you cannot put into words what he did to that program and like the what he's done to like the team. And it's been a rough, I feel like it's been a rough year with the whole transition.
Yeah.
And I think that naming the stadium would be a really nice way to honor what he did for that school, for the state, and for the program. But yeah, shout out to Bobby C too.
Yeah. No, that's legit. I had a pitching coach when I first wanted to be pretty good at it. Um,
Pretty good, not the best.
when I realized, like, okay, I can be pretty good at this. His name was Rick Sullivan, and he was incredible. I think he definitely saw something in like my abilities to where he like loved working with me, and he never charged a dime. He never
Wow.
charged a dime. And you know what? Like he ended up coaching the White Rock Renegades, and I had played for him and this and that. But like, I'm not sure that I would have learned the skill set of pitching if it wasn't like there'd be times he'd pick me up from school and take me to the park down the road, and when my dad got off work he would come and like pick me up, and like
Wow.
Rick would catch for me, and like that was huge. That was really big because number one, I think for me to pay for lessons all the time, and it wasn't what it is now, it's really expensive now.
Yeah.
I don't know if my parents could have paid for that all the time, you know?
And
So
it's unheard of for them not to charge. Like that's
yeah,
crazy.
he
Great. It's
loved,
great that he did that, but it's like that
yeah.
should speak to like how special that was. Yeah.
He was, and he was so great at being able to kind of hear me out, listen, teach that part of the sport. I loved it. And then I think my next one was like when UW got Lance Glasso. So
Mhm.
that 2008 Olympic year was that transition of where they brought him in. Um, Lance saved me through some really dark times. You know, it's nerve wracking when you get a new pitching coach in the middle of your collegiate career
Career.
and you're like,
Hmm.
okay,
Yeah.
now this. And like, I remember being excited that it was going to be a guy. I was excited for that because I felt like sometimes with women,
You don't always
everyone
vibe.
connects.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
everyone
don't always
connects
vibe. I
different.
get it. Yeah.
So having someone that wasn't as like, I don't
They
even know the right.
communicate differently.
Yeah,
They speak
right.
differently. They have different ways of like they just it's all of it is different. It's very
Yeah.
different. I'm not saying one's worse or one's better. It's just different players connect with different types of coaches, and sometimes that comes down to the very base question of is it a female coach or is it a male coach?
Yeah. And he saved me through there was multiple tears shed. Like I remember when I first met him and like he gave me this big hug and like he gave me like a 3 minute hug and he was like, my job coming in here isn't to change you. Like I am going to be in your back pocket and I am going to help get you to wherever it is that you want to go. And I think hearing that at 21 years old, because you can have a lot of egos with someone else coming in and,
Mm-hmm.
oh, they're going to put their philosophies and this and that. Lance was my ride or die. Like the amount of hard conversations that I had with him through the shitty teammate that I was in '08 and tears and sitting there and having him listen. And there'd be multiple times where he'd put me through workouts that I didn't want to do. I'd be running after I'd throw a bullpen and he's standing on the warning track, timing me and pushing me and making me. And obviously, you have teammates that sometimes, but pitching's a lot of lonely work. And I think
Mm-hmm.
he knew the goals that I wanted and needed for myself. And in order to push that, he needed to be hard on me in certain ways. So it'd be like he could hear out the heartbreak of that 2008 year and really help build me back up.
Yeah.
And if he wasn't in that role, I'm not sure that I would have been able to be built into that brick house of that player that I needed to be.
Yeah.
He saved me. And what's so great is like just sign Maddie up to do the pitching camp at UW. It's like a 4 week thing. And like my pitching coach is like there. And like obviously this is for older kids. It's gonna be cool. She gets to go, she's still 11, whatever, but she gets to go and like be around someone that influenced me the way that he did and give his insight. And so it's a full circle. It's full circle. It's gone by too quick, that circle. But
Mm-hmm.
Lance is the man. You know, he's been there what seems like almost as long as Heather Tarr.
Yeah.
I
That's so
feel,
cool. And I bet he's probably ecstatic that he's gonna get Maddie. Like
and
in
I'm just like so grateful that they are still involved with the program.
mm-hmm.
It's different going back to a program where they're different coaches,
Mm-hmm.
but to be able to go there with coaches that coach me, that understand me, and now my kids, God, that would be like the dream if Maddie or Audrey one day got to compete and play at Washington, whatever. I don't care where they want to go, if they even are good enough to play in college, if they want to, but they get to see it,
Yeah.
right? They get to be there and see it and hear the verbiage and the way they speak. And so, yeah, Lance was a real one. Lucky for him, for sure.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
really cool. Yeah. I think going back, like when I was coaching at Davis and we went back and played Hawaii and it was still the same coaching staff, like on
Yeah.
our field. Yeah. Same thing. It's like
Yeah.
you can't put into words like similar to the
Yeah.
World Series, right? Like there's all these little stories and these moments where you just like, you can't make this shit up. Like it just fulfills you in this like crazy way that you never thought something like this was possible. And because of everything you've done in your life, this is now where you're standing. And like, we get to do this. Like, this is cool.
Yeah. No, I feel lucky to still be involved in the game one way or another. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Been
Yeah.
out of it for a while, so it's cool to still be around. So yeah, that's that.
Well, thanks for listening.